Real Madrid down Sevilla 1-0 with some late heroics from Luka Modric, who had just come on. Jules, you love your techers, and I imagine when you were Modric's age,
not that long ago.
Wasn't that long ago, you looked and played more like him than I did, so I'll let you handle this one.
Outstanding goal coming off the bench again, which we know he's not happy with. But the ball is in the air and then he controls it. For me, the control is even better than the curler is lovely. Yeah. But it's all about even the little kind of dummy with his body, the control just after the bounce and the spin on the ball, which is not easy. And then the finish, incredible. And I love the celebration where all the players kind of carry him and he's there. We know this is the last season, really. He's 38. And I don't know where he will go if he goes back to Croatia, if he goes to Saudi Arabia.
He could take a coaching role. That's also
I'll take a coaching role, which is possible. But I think we need to enjoy him, for as long as it lasts. And moments of brilliance, of genius like this, is very much that.
They made a big deal of the fact I think only Dani Ceballos has played fewer minutes out of sort of Real Madrid's kind of first team midfielders. That may be true, but the reality is he's still 38 years old, which means that I think you have to budget his time on the pitch.
For sure.
And if Kroos also plays, you really don't want to be playing them together anymore. So I think he can be a grown-up. He can understand it. He can play a really big role between now and the end of the season, especially if, given the situation in central defense, Tchouaméni has to play there more and more. So I think he can still play a big role this year.
I guess, if it's your last season ever, I guess you always want to play as much as possible, which is not the case this season still.
It's 38. Be realistic.
I know. And Sevilla had filed a complaint before the game regarding what they called harassment of referee Isidro Diaz de Mera, who's the referee that was refereeing the game, and his VAR, Gonzalo Fuertes, by Real Madrid TV, who do this a lot in the last few years when they put a video on Real Madrid TV of all the mistakes that referees that is about to referee them made against Real Madrid. I think this is mad. And then obviously those referees disallowed Lucas Vazquez's goal for a foul from Nacho earlier when the score was still 0-0. Does this mean that Real Madrid TV was correct? And do you think it's acceptable, that kind of propaganda that they do on that channel?
So I think it was probably correctly struck off because it wasn't that far before. Possession never changed hands. I think this is absolutely horrible. Again, it's the second Mourinho reference of the show. I've called out Mourinho when you preemptively go and you say that. If I have a if producer Freddie is a party at his house and I go on social media and say, hey, I'm going to party at producer Freddie's house, Jules is going to be there. I hope Jules doesn't go and steal at producer Freddie's house. I'm sorry, that's just not on. You're trying to influence these people preemptively ahead of time. It's real low-life behavior by Real Madrid TV. Obviously, they're owned by the club. I'm assuming all it takes will be Florentino Perez, or better yet, Jose Angel Sanchez, who's a little bit more with it, Jose Sanchez, to pick up the phone and say, guys, cut it out. After the game, you want to slaughter the guy? That's fine. But to do so before the game so you can get into his head, so you can get the crowd predisposed against him, especially when you're playing, with all due respect, Sevilla, who, other than the return of Sergio Ramos, they have nothing to shout about. This is really low.
Really low. And also, they hadn't planned that he would get himself injured and would have to come off in the second.
They should have made a video about the other guy too.
Atletico Madrid draw 2-2 despite being 2-0 up with Almeria away. And Gab, we have a Luka Romero sighting.
Okay, so first of all, I got to say this about Almeria. I tweeted it out. I challenge our football historians out there. I challenge you to come up with a better, to prove me wrong when I say that there is no team in the history of football that is winless after 26 games that is better than Almeria. This is the greatest winless team after 26 games in history by far.
Why should we be ranking the level of the really bad teams?
Because they're not really bad.
They're playing
really
decent
good.
football. They've
been really good against Girona, really good against Atletico now. They were good against Barcelona. They were good against Real Madrid.
Athletic Club as well, they drew with them.
I don't know how it's possible that they have not won a game. And on Luka Romero, for those who don't remember, he's the guy who made his debut in La Liga at 15. He was either the youngest guy ever or the youngest guy in recent years, whatever. And he's got that very kind of 1970s Argentine haircut, even though he's part Argentine, part Mexican as well. And then he disappears, right? He just doesn't kick on. He goes to Lazio, shows flashes, doesn't ever start, goes to Milan, never gets it done. Now Milan sent him on loan to Almeria. First start, scores 2 goals. And you
one
especially.
Lovely one, yeah.
Well, you like that? You like the one where for no reason, no possible reason other than he hits it with the outside of his boot.
Beautiful.
Why would you do that? Other than you can.
Yeah, just because you can. Exactly.
Because you're that good.
Because you're that good.
Barcelona beat Getafe 4-0 to move past Girona, at least until this evening when they take on Rayo. Jules, I thought this was one of their best, most stress-free home performances of the season.
It was helped by Getafe being dreadful, playing with a high line. Getafe high line.
I know.
That they exploited so well. Rafinha with his first goal. So well done, but they will be tougher opponents soon.
Athletic Bilbao get Nico Williams foolishly sent off in the first half and fall 3-1 away to Betis. Jules, Betis away is a tough out, but this is a big blow to the Champions League hopes.
It is massive, especially with Atletico Madrid dropping points too, and Girona only playing on Monday night. You know what? I commentated on the 2 Betis game against Dinamo Zagreb in Europe, and they were terrible. They were dreadful. They were knocked out, and they deserved to be. And I never saw this 3-1 defeat coming for Athletic Club because I thought they're going to go there even away and just going to be the better side. Especially not having played on Thursday like Betis had.
Yeah, it's hard to play more than a half with 10 men.
You know, I know.
But he only has himself to blame.
Even when they were 11 against 11, I don't think they were that much superior anyway.
He only has himself to blame.
Yeah,
this
because
is what
the
bugs
second
me.
yellow, so first yellow is for the foul. That's a very soft foul.
And then he sits there and applauds the referee.
Yeah, so
you
for
can't
dissent,
do that.
I know.
You can't do this.
Hopefully he will learn
Enough.
from it. And Gab, in that game, assistant referee Guadalupe Porras had to be substituted after she ran into a camera. You've been watching football for a long time. Have you ever seen anything like this before? And between that and the Real Madrid game, where we said already that the referee got injured himself and had to be subbed off, have we ever seen the same weekend in the same league 2 referees being subbed off?
Yeah, I love it.
Surely
I
not.
love it. Some analytics nerd, some stats guy coming out and telling us what the chances of this happening are. I think it's incredible. No, I've never seen anybody running into a camera. But I have to say, and look, this is all magnified by the fact that she's one of the few women match officials in the men's game. It shouldn't be the assistant referee's job to watch where they're going, right? There has to be a clear path at all times for them to do their job because they're supposed to literally be looking at the
and
pitch.
be focused on the pitch, nothing else.
Yeah, whatever Muppet with a camera, dude, understand there's an assistant referee on your side. You have to stay out of them because they can't see you.
Yeah.
Simple as.
Yeah.